Alrighty guys, in this video we're gonna quickly just fix the whole issues that we're having with the car. I'll go over that in a second. Past me, we'll go over that in a second. I will just say that I'm really trying to get this car running for you guys, and I promise it's like top priority right now. But every time we drive it, something weird happens, and right now we are having issues with the belt flying off. And I think the issue with this car is that the motor revs quickly. You guys can hear that anytime I'm touching the gas or anything. It just goes whoosh, whoosh. It's not really blowing the tires off, it just revs quick. It's not a clutch issue, it's not a tire issue. It's just fully built motor, forged internals with lightweight components that's gonna rev quick. So the issue with that is we are absolutely just slinging off the belt. And I'm thinking there's a pulley alignment issue. The only thing I can really think of is this whole alternator bracket issue, because it's the only thing that's aftermarket other than the ATI F-body dampener. But I ordered a laser for the pulleys that's supposed to help align it, and it's been like 2 weeks and it hasn't come yet. So I want to get a video out. I don't want to leave you guys just drawn blank like, hey, what's going on? So that's what we're doing today. We're working on the car, fixing up all the oiling issues, the leaks, all that stuff, fix it up. A little bit of a scene of a camera from the phone, kind of showing you how the car reacts and before it blows the belt off. And yeah, so I've been doing little test drives, so I'll throw those clips in, but it just throws the belt off, and I don't want to like get you guys excited with the title like, oh, the 350Z's driving, and just for it to blow off the belt. So 350Z's not happy, but of course that's part of the project, so we'll get it running, and yeah, we'll go from there. In my last video, the 350Z did not look like this. In this video, we're gonna do a lot more. We're gonna get the car running, the motor running, we're gonna get the car tuned, and we're gonna take it on a quick test drive, see how we do. Spoiler alert, things get very interesting. Alright, so if you guys have been paying attention, we've been building this 408 stroker LS-swapped 350Z, and there is a lot of stuff that we got right, but there's also a little bit of stuff that we got wrong. So the car makes way too much oil pressure. Check this out. Now by that screenshot, I'm not sure if you guys can see it based on what mobile device or TV you're on, but we're making almost 110 and 120 psi of oil at 6,000 RPMs. That is way too much. Now if it was making that at the 8,000 RPMs the motor's supposed to rev out to, because we're not going to be hitting that a lot, but this motor is supposed to rev out to 8, so if it was making that at 6,000, there's an issue. I contacted Melling, and they were like, hey, this is the oil pump that you have in it. We don't recommend that for your setup because you have tight clearances. Anybody who hasn't been here before, my 408 stroker, I have the clearances. I have this motor built almost exactly like an LS7, except it uses LS3 parts. So truck bottom motor, bottom end is a truck motor, 6 liter, 30 over, 4-inch crank, 1.25 rods, fully built, fully forged, 20-dish pistons. If you guys want more information, just go check out my other videos of me building the motor. But we got to change out the oil pump, and unfortunately that's going to be a lot of work. So yeah, I'm probably not going to show the entire process, but to make it simple, take the coolant hoses off, take this whole assembly off that I made. Gives us a bunch of room. I'm gonna see if I can't drop the pan with it lifted up in the air without having to take this entire subframe off, but if I do, unfortunately that's gonna be how it goes. It's Thursday right now. If I have to drop that subframe, it's probably gonna be, unfortunately, probably till Sunday to get it done, because I'm waiting on my dampener puller, because we have to drop the oil pan because it's leaking. I'm assuming because it's making 120 psi of oil. And then we have to pull the pulley off because I'm going to do the oil pump. So I'm doing all that at the same time. Got to take the water pump off, all that stuff, just get the front cover off. Nothing terrible. It's all pretty basic, but it just takes a long time. So I'll update you guys when I got everything off. And yeah, this isn't going to be fun, but it's got to be done because I'm ready to go street tuning. You guys want to see some street tuning? Let me know. Let's go. Alrighty, so the first thing that we got to do is we got to drop the transmission. I actually did this off screen because there was a lot of stuff that goes into dropping the transmission, and we got a lot of parts everywhere. It actually kind of sucks how to do all this, but after reviewing the rear main seal and the ARP bolts, it is very obvious that it is leaking from the rear main seal. Rear main seal is actually pushed in, so I may have just not aligned the plate very well, and that's on me because that's the only thing I didn't use my alignment tool for, was the rear main seal, because I thought I had it perfect. And use a rear main seal, guys. When you guys are doing the rear main seal, just make sure you're buying a cheap $20 alignment tool. It'll save you from doing everything I'm doing. And another thing is the flywheel bolts have like a little thin oil passage on the threads where you can see oil seep through. So I'm going to use a little bit of thread locker slash coating for the bolts so the oil can't squeeze past during high RPM, high pressure, you know, all that stuff. So let me go under there and show you guys what we're dealing with. We gotta take the adapter plate off and the rear cover off, and I already drained the oil, all that other stuff, and we'll get that rear main seal replaced and aligned. So let's do it. Alrighty guys, take a look at this. Here is the back of the motor. If you pay attention to at the bottom of this, you can see it's all wet. What I think I did wrong was, on top of not aligning the plate properly, you can see how the seal is like very far in. It's actually supposed to be flush with this plate, and you can see it's very not flush. I'm not sure how great it looks like on camera, but you can also see with this bolt in, oil is dripping out of these bolts because these are through the actual plating and don't have a stop in the back. So oil pressure builds up and slowly seeps past the ARP bolts and cause another form of leaking. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be replacing this seal and putting some Loctite or something to fill in the gap so the oil can't squeeze past these bolts. It could be something as easy as gasket maker silicone, Loctite, whatever you want to use. If you guys do run into the situation and decide to run Loctite, make sure you use something like blue and leave yourself a little note, you know. Maybe not somewhere where oil's going to drip down if it does drip down again. But like over here, make like a little arrow and be like, hey, heat bolts, so that you know when you're taking these out to heat them up because they got Loctite on them. But yeah, in my case, I just got to take this entire adapter plate off and go ahead and loosen the bolts on the bottom and take the rear main cover off and redo this with the tool. So I will do that off camera, and I will be back to update you guys when I'm done. Alright, so after replacing that seal, which was a lot of time and effort with trying to get the oil to stop spilling out. There was no oil in the transmission, however it was leaking like that because of what was on top of the windage tray. Interesting, huh? And the motor being leaned back didn't help at all, but we got the new seal on, aligned the rear cover with the alignment tool, and we just got the transmission on. And it's been a long time since then. It's been almost like 3 weeks because we've just gotten literally non-stop 3 weeks of rain. So a lot of the stuff I tried to do off camera, I don't know if you even saw under there, but the transmission is holstered up. I put the finishing bolts in the transmission and got the motor lifted up, and hopefully we don't leak any more from that rear seal because it would suck to take all of this out again. And I think my plan is actually just gonna be putting everything up. Oh man, it's such an inconvenience, but I think I need to put the drive shaft back in and a little bit of the exhaust just to keep the car running. But we'll just hope that it doesn't leak on the seal anymore, and if it doesn't, that'll be really nice. Still gotta figure out a way to get the oil pump out of here without freaking dropping the oil pan, because there's no room to drop this oil pan without dropping the front subframe. And I got to change out the radiator that leaks, and when the new radiator's put on, start getting the headlight housings and all that stuff put on, and eventually the front bumper. Gotta clean up all the wiring mess over here. I gotta trim all this down and start soldering some joints. That way our plastic can cleanly lay over. Reroute the brake booster line. Pretty much get this car ready to drive and look like it's ready to drive. So a lot of work we gotta do, but we're getting close every time. So I'm gonna finish putting some bolts in the transmission, getting it mounted up fully, and we can go from there and see if we can start dropping that front cover, getting all the water out of the motor, all that stuff. Because it's gonna rain again, so I figured since I'm only running water in the motor anyways, that I just unplug everything, let it all spill on the floor, the water, and it'll dry up just like if it had rained. So a lot of effort, but I will update you guys when I get somewhere. Alrighty, after me being sick for about 2 days, we're back on to the car. Got the front end off, obviously. There's nothing there, there's no radiator, all that stuff that I showed you last time's not there. Now taking apart the balancer. It took me a second to get the ARP bolt out, but taking the balancer off, cover comes off. Top dead center pointer has to come off as well. And then we will start pulling the oil pump out, and hopefully the oil pump's gonna be the quickest part. Seal it back up, start putting everything back together. I made a list of stuff that I need to do off camera, and that is including the headlight buckets. Someone's mowing, so I'm trying to be a little louder. Headlight buckets, front bumper. Front bumper's not that big of a deal to me, but I can get it on. And just make sure the new radiator's on, everything's routed. I have everything, pretty much everything written down. I just got to do it. So, and a majority of that that bothers me is the wiring over there. Definitely got to clean that up. So that's gonna be a little bit, but shouldn't be terrible. Let's get this balancer off and see where we can go from there. Sooner or later it will come off, and I will show you guys that when it's off. Boom! So we got the cover off. It's looking like I'm gonna have to drop the pan a little bit to even get the bolt inside. I mean, it's in there. So that's gonna be fun. Not really, sarcasm there, but at least we can get a little bit of a look at the inside of the motor. Everything feels okay. We look okay. Yeah, feels okay, looks okay. So yeah, it's good that everything's still working as it should be, and I'll just kind of double check everything on my own time and go from there. But we're looking pretty good so far, so we'll see how this goes. I need a haircut. Yeah, the wind is going crazy right now because it is hot in here. I was gonna show you guys the clip of me taking the old oil pump off, but I ended up slicing open my finger. It's got a band-aid on there now, but ended up slicing open my finger. But the pump's off. New pump right here. Put that bad boy on and we get going, you know. New oil pump is in. Timing marker will have to be readjusted, obviously, but alignment tool, if I did this properly, should fit right in. Come right out. And we're good. Start putting the motor back together, drop it back in its area. I have one knock sensor on right here for tuning. I don't know how well you can see this. There's a knock sensor, and I gotta make a custom bracket out of aluminum right here and put everything back together. Shouldn't be too much longer, and we should be able to start buttoning up the front end and starting to get this thing actually tuned. So here we go. Alrighty, so it's time to mount the last knock sensor. Obviously it doesn't fit, you know, any of these accessory bolts. So what I did is I kind of made my own adapter. I saw how they were made online, and I just took a chunk of aluminum and made some threads and a see-through bolt, and pretty much it's gonna be the opposite way in the back, but so you guys can see, it'll be hooked up to the motor like that. And the knock sensor will be tapped onto the block. The adapters for these sensors for the Gen 3 blocks are like literally 200 bucks. I don't know why. There's some that are like $25, but they're not even the right thread pitch, and I just didn't want to like really like go out of my way to make some, to just spend a bunch of money. So like literally an $8 piece of aluminum right here. Yeah, it took a lot of time, but I mean, it's cheap, right? It doesn't have to be great. It gets hidden underneath the motor and all that stuff anyway. So as long as it does what it needs to do, I think we're good. So I'm gonna go ahead and hook this up and hook the knock sensor up and the wiring, and can start it back in and start hooking everything back up. Alrighty, so this is what we're looking at. It's literally as simple as that. Simple bracket, barely see it, and it should work. Should work just fine actually. Not too close to the headers. There'll be a heat shield over it anyways, but yeah, not too bad. Alrighty, so there's an ice cream truck in the back. Sorry if you guys can hear the music. I have spaced out the alternator. You can see there's some black spacers holding up the back of the alternator. They are, I think, like 0.45 of an inch bigger, and it's starting to look like the pulleys are lined up now, if not very closely. I will check them with a laser soon. But the reason why we have this leak right here was from the power steering lines. When I was doing the oil pan and I was moving the lines, they got loose. I thought I had them a lot tighter than that, apparently not. Tighten those bad boys up and we're not leaking anymore. Got to still put the harmonic bolt in there and run some wires through there. This is pinched, not a big deal because this was just temporary. The way it just slacks under there, it's not going to be like that. We're going to be running this to an oil cooler, and then to the oil cooler to the actual motor. So yeah, so just a bunch of stuff that I've been doing off camera, trying to get everything right. The motor is still being held up by the cherry picker. Once this is out of the way and sitting back where it needs to be sitting, tighten down the bolts, and it would be a lot easier to get in and out from underneath the car, because right now I have to kind of do like this movement thing to get in between the little triangle of the cherry picker, and it's not fun. But we're making progress. Oil pan's on, oil pump's on, rear seal's on. We literally just have to bolt everything back together, check for leaks, and hopefully it doesn't leak. Cross our fingers, we'll get better oil pressure. Instead of 120 at, I think it was like 6,000 RPMs, it'll be more like 80. Let's hope. If it's a little less than that, like 70, even better. The issue was just 120 is completely bypassing the oil pump valve, and we can't do that. So a lot of work. Wish it was just as simple as fixing an oil leak, but it doesn't always work like that. So keep on working, and slowly by slowly knock down the stuff on the list, and we'll get the car back on the street. Dude, I look wore out, bro. Cars are back together. I don't know when I last showed you guys. We've been going through a lot of rain. The goal is there to be no oil leak. Oil pressure should be sitting better, and pretty much that's it. Just the oil leak and all that stuff, and hopefully nothing goes wrong with the first start. What do you think's gonna happen?
Hopefully everything will go right.
Yeah, so we can finally drive it. Clutch. Sorry, I got the dogs out. Speak to me, computer. Oh, forgot the other part of the plugging in process. Yes. Speak to me, computer. Speak all the nice words. The button's stuck. Little thing with the gauge on the left side. Just make sure it's not at 0. You ready? What's it at?
0.
Really? Still at 0? 0? Yeah, the pump don't sound like it's happy. We'll do a quick crank and see if there's any oil pressure. I need you to be quiet though as much as you can. 0.3. Oil check, fuel pressure. Nothing? How's it running right now?
That's showing them.
It is? It was probably just air in the system. What's it at, like 58? Okay, cool. 60 PSI of oil so far. Start checking for leaks. Is it leaking? For a little bit and we'll check in with you guys. I want to just kind of make sure I'm mainly focused on checking for leaks and everything, and I'll update you guys when we get something, because I need to focus. Car's warming up, 60 psi of oil. When I tapped the gas last time to like 3,000 RPMs, it would shoot past 80. So our goal is to make sure this doesn't shoot past 80. Good oil pressure. That was 5,000 RPMs. We hit 80. Last time that was around 110. So oil pump is doing its job. Fuel pressure's there. AFR is a little off the chart. Are we still at 58 PSI fuel pressure? Can you check the gauge real quick? Okay. We'll let it warm up and run a little bit. And as you can see, it just absolutely just threw the belt off. Like that quick. We just shot the belt off. This is the belt right here, actually. You can see how tangled it is. It's marred all up, it's chewed, it's in separate pieces. I mean, it just absolutely did not last. So I'm gonna wait for the pulley alignment tool to come in, and hopefully we can figure it out from there. And if it works, it'll be great. And hopefully in the next video we'll get it running. You'll see by the title, but my Instagram's been blowing up. Appreciate you guys for the followers. I think we gained like 500 followers in like 2 weeks. That's insane. So if you're from Instagram, thank you for swapping by. Thank you for stopping by. And yeah, we'll get this car running. We'll get some more good content out. A lot of it's just been building the car, but I can't wait to drive this car and get out there for you guys. So get this thing out of the tent and get it driving. That's the goal. But I'll see you guys then. Stay active. See ya.